shift the conversation from something that is maybe an annoyance to the health concerns that I have. So I don't know if everyone's aware, but when DCR reopened, and I'm a new resident to Delaware, so I just moved to this state. I live in Newcastle. My house backs up to the industrial park where the rail line runs right through, okay? And at the end of January, DCR had a boiler issue that had a massive release of sulfur dioxide. So my question is this: what is being done with that? How much sulfur dioxide has been released to date? Is the boiler repaired? And how is the processing of the crude oil that isn't really being managed now going to be different for the tar sands in terms of the liquid waste management, the solid waste management, and the gaseous waste management? Not a problem.
All right, so the first question on how is the operation going to be different now than in the past? The answer is absolutely no difference.
So it's going to continue to release toxins into the air arbitrarily?
Yes.
My question is the boiler going to be addressed before this tar sands operation begins?
Again, I'm going to try to answer your question. All right? The first question was, is there any difference in the way we're going to be processing these particular crude oils or raw materials that there was in the past? The answer is none.
Okay, so as a new resident, can you tell me where that waste is going and how it's being handled now? If there's not going to be any difference, I'd like to know what's currently being done.
And all of our emissions from the refinery, be it air emission, be it water emission, be it solid waste emissions, they're all very highly regulated by agencies in terms of what we can emit and what we need to do with it.
Where are they housed?
We would spend 3 to 4 hours even getting close to answering that question.
So then just let me know, where is it housed? When it's done processing, where is it kept?
Where is it what?
Housed. Where is it kept? Where does the waste go?
But you're talking solid waste?
I'm talking solid, liquid, and gaseous. The waste process, where does it go?
The question doesn't get much simpler.
It's pretty straightforward.
Where does it go? Solid waste, first of all, we try to minimize solid waste at the refinery through recycling. You are allowed to bring solid waste to definitive, identified, certified sites that can handle waste. So that's where we will bring our solid waste to a variety of sites, certified, audited by the EPA to handle it. As far as water, our water discharges are regulated under an NPDES permit. And so basically we have a wastewater treatment plant similar to a municipal treatment plant that everyone should be familiar with. Municipal treatment plant, ours is a large one, and it actually has more sophistication. And we treat all of our water before we discharge it back to the river or anywhere else.
Construction and refuse to work inside an elevator refinery because of the safety act.
I want everybody for 1 second, just to give yourself a bit of inner peace, to realize and to sit and look around where you are sitting. And some quiet for a minute. And hear the voices of those children back there. This plan is not for anybody's future in Delaware. It's for some person to make lots of money on it. That's subsidized off of your tax money. They do not have half the permits to run this plant. And the only reason why they're allowed to run is because of political insidership. That's all this is. What is happening here in Delaware City and Delaware itself is about to get Bhopal. We all remember Bhopal. December 3rd of my birthday, 84. 20,000 people got killed for a chemical release. This plant had to be sued trying to fight. We're trying to fight this cooling site they got down there. They're going to destroy the Delaware Bay, which is already a liquid desert because of the nuclear plants, and dump thousands of chemicals into the water table. This plant is located around the 10 worst Superfund sites in the United States, and this school is located near one. Now, I would like you to tell me, how is this really going to benefit the health of people of Delaware? What kind of taxes are they paying? And where are they getting the oil from? And what are the resources that they need to use the oil? We don't have the resources for this. That plant uses 4,000 gallons a minute of fresh water out of the ground. To make 1 barrel of tar sands oil up there in Canada, it takes like 10,000, 20,000 gallons of water. And we're drying out as a planet. Do you think it's going to bring the oil prices down? No, it won't. This oil is going to go right to the military so they can keep up their little resource wars. This oil is injustice.
The rails that are going to be bringing these trains in are going through University of Delaware campus along the fields that they conduct their agricultural research on. And whether you bring it south through Newark or north through Wilmington, you're going to be either going through Newark and the communities of Newark, or you're going to be going right next to the Delaware River. And we're talking about going from 50 cars to 250 cars a day, is what you said earlier. My question is, with all this increased output from the refinery, how is that going to affect the water table? Because we do have a well on the farm. That is our water source. If our well goes bad, we're screwed. There is no plumbing. There's no way to get plumbing out there. We're the last house in the state of Delaware. There's nothing out there. We will not have water, and to me that's a concern because that's our farm. It's everything. It's everything we have. What is that going to do to the local agricultural business, and how is that going to affect the water tables?
As far as groundwater and use of groundwater, we're again regulated by DENREC in terms of how much groundwater we're allowed to use, and that again we have permit limits that you can use this much, and if we do anything that where we even use a little bit more, we have to report that, and they know. That's correct.
The reason I bring that up is because Delaware actually has one of the highest cancer rates in the country, and I'm not really keen on bringing them up that list any higher. In fact, I would rather us go down that list so we can reduce the cancer rate in Delaware. Don't know if that's part of your plan or not, but I hope so.
Our next question is from Ms. Kris Lynn. Mic check.
Mic check.
Right now, as we sit here, cancerous tar sands and fracked oil,
Cancerous tar sands and fracked oil.
rolling rail cars,
Through our neighborhoods.
dirty crude,
3 times more carcinogenic
than regular oil,
is refined just down the street. Delawareans suffer
the second highest cancer rate
in
all of the United States. We can't afford more cancer. While this refinery
reaps the profits,
Delaware
residents
pay the cost
pay the costs
in
in health,
and well-being.
safety, and well-being.
While this refinery
Reaps the subsidies,
Delaware residents
pay the taxes.
Where's the oversight?
Where's the oversight?
Where's the transparency?
Where's the transparency?
Who will pay for accidents
Who will pay for accidents
and spills in our backyard?
and spills in
No to business as usual.
No tar sands and fracked oil.
No tar sands and fracked oil.
At Delaware City Refinery.
At Delaware City Refinery.
And yes to a better quality of life.
Yes to a better quality of life.
Yes, you're quadrupling the number of tanker cars going into the refinery. So we're going overland with our crude oil. Don't let them call it crude. It's called synthetic crude because the other stuff up in Canada and this jail looks like pavement. Okay, so they thin it down with benzene to make it flow. If you know anything about benzene, if you've been a chemist or if you're an MD in a cancer ward, full cancer ward in the Christiana Center every day, people with lymphoma, leukemia, and all the side effects from benzene. It's a side effect that comes out of those rail cars, and it's now running through your backyards. It's highly volatile, and in the warmer weather, it just streams right out of those cars. And with the Sierra Club, we'll be putting bucket brigades along those lines and report back to you the levels of benzene coming out of those cars as they go by your homes and businesses, places where you work, and places where your children are going to school. They are responsible for that. They're not addressing that issue, and we're all tied into logistics here. Delaware's not the worst cancer cluster in the country for no reason at all. The governor has fast-tracked this. He's given this refinery hundreds of millions of your tax dollars. You're paying for this. You deserve the answers. And you deserve to ask them the tough questions. And I've heard nothing but BS coming out of them. And good things coming out. I've been attending their meetings for 6 months over in Delaware City and listening and asking questions, and they tap dance around these issues. You don't have to believe me when I say it. Attend those meetings and ask your own hard questions, because there's going to be lots of them. This is a whole tap dance tonight, pointing fingers at each other and talking about railroad crossings. I want my kids and my parents who are sitting in their homes to not have to go into chemotherapy down in Christiana anymore. They've already been there once. Thank you very much, and I've been through it.
I hear a lot of fear tonight. I hear a lot of anger tonight. I hear a lot of frustration. I think only you can help us get past that. By having the kind of communication that you were talking about at the beginning of the meeting, to make sure that we get the information that will satisfy us so that we know that you are acting responsibly and that we're not kicking a bunch of stuff into the air, into the water, onto the land, which will pollute our water system and our land so that it is unusable in the future. We know that we've got some pretty bad land around here. We've got a lot of bad water around here, including the aquifers. We can't take any more of that. We want your help, if you're going to be doing this, to help us with the information that we need, and we would like to work with you. I would like to work with you. But we have to make sure that it's a two-way street. And I'm here to talk to you. I hope you'll be here to talk.